Warm greetings. This is Peter Nathan with a webcast for Tomorrow's World. The aspect of Bible and science are often seen in opposition to one another, being seen as mortal foes. A scroll which had been found in a burned-out synagogue in En-Gedi in Israel in 1970. An archaeological excavation in En-Gedi had found the synagogue that had been burned about 600 CE. And in the synagogue was the very charred remains of a Torah scroll, probably written around about 200 CE, according to Emmanuel Tov of Hebrew University. The interesting thing was it was so badly charred that any attempt to unroll the scroll would have created a pile of dust and ash. So the scroll sat safely cased in a box in the Israeli Antiquity Authority Museum until a recent date, when the University of Kentucky developed a process that would allow the scroll to be read digitally. It would in fact be unrolled digitally rather than physically. Science so far. What about the Bible? It's an interesting situation because this scroll falls between the scrolls discovered at Qumran at the Dead Sea in the late 1940s and early 1950s, and the first great codex of the Hebrew Bible, the Aleppo Codex, which was written in the 900s, most of which is in the Israeli Museum. So this forms a bridge or a stopping point between the end of the 1st century BCE and 900 CE in terms of the history of the Hebrew scrolls. What was surprising about this particular scroll is the fact that it follows the text of the Aleppo Codex, or more correctly, we should say the Aleppo Codex follows the same text as this particular scroll, showing the continuity of the text from the time of the Qumran scrolls right through to the Aleppo Codex and on to today. Of course, having been written and copied in about 200, it was without the vowel points that the Masoretes added, and as such as are seen in the Aleppo Codex. It's interesting how sometimes these things go together. Because of recent date, another scroll, this time of Exodus, has come to light as well. And this is called the Ashkar Gilson Hebrew manuscript, which was purchased in Beirut in 1972 and has languished in the university library until recent date, when it was sent to Israel and was studied in some depth. This particular scroll is of a later date, probably about 600 CE, but once again shows the consistent use of the same text that we know as the Masoretic text today. Like the scroll of the charred scroll of Leviticus, this was also without the pointing, the vowel pointing that the Masoretes added. But yet the lettering, the consonants that were used, the words used, are identically the same. What we have as a result is we have 2 points of reference showing the consistency of the text of the scripture from the time of the Aleppo Codex in the 900s, taking us back to the text traditions that existed at the time scrolls were deposited in the Qumran cave. Science has helped and supported the Bible in showing the unerring consistency of the biblical text. Thanks for watching. For more information on this type of material about the Bible, please visit us on Facebook or at tomorrowsworld.org. See you next time.